right, thank you. We got some food in you, right? Everybody's happy? I just came from doing a real estate event across town, and man, I'm glad to be with you. I love coaching people that want to get better. And you showed up today to get better, right? You're interested in this, and so we're going to help you get better. And I'll tell you how I ended up coaching real estate agents is I was a high school women's basketball coach for a decade. And that's why you see this big gaudy ring on my right finger. I worked 80 hours a week coaching 14 to 18-year-olds. Loved every second of it. But we started winning so many games because we built this little greatness factory. And I could take kids and put them into my system and pump them out on the other side, confident, knowledge, skill, desire, confidence. We were teaching those kids the 7 habits of highly effective people and principles of good to great and 5 dysfunctions of teams. And we began winning so much, people asked me to speak. They say, hey, will you come over and speak to my team? Because, man, your little kids are just winning like crazy, right? And so I started writing books. And I said, well, let me just write a book on how we're winning so much. And when I wrote that book, big companies began to call me. And they really all said the same thing. It was there was a parallel between what the mamas and daddies said to me and what the brokers and real estate teams were saying to me. The mamas and daddies would drop their daughters off and say, my daughter's got a lot of what? Potential. Yeah, potential. Every now and then they said issues. And they were right about that, right? I have a 4-year-old daughter, so I can say that. And they did have potential. Potential is just kinetic energy that's stored until utilized. How many of you think you got a lot more potential? But you have to be interested in your own potential, right or wrong. It's not enough for me to be interested in your potential, your broker to be interested in your potential, Kevin to be interested in your potential. You have got to be interested in your potential. It's just kinetic energy. It's sitting stored there. I've taken real estate agents that are doing 20 deals a year to 100 deals. I've got agents that are now making more money in the first quarter of this year than they made in the first 10 years of real estate. And they were just agents out there who had a lot of potential. They just had never had anybody coaching them. And I'm talking about really coaching them, right? So I wrote this book at 25, and that led me out to start speaking to big companies, Dell, State Farm, National Healthcare, and it was fun at first. I just did it as a hobby. Like I'd go speak to these adults, and they'd say, man, well, you want to come back? And I'm like, no, I'm coaching these kids. I have no intention whatsoever of coaching adults. I love coaching kids, right? And then I spoke at Dell once, and here in Nashville, and I spoke for an hour, and at the end they said, well, here's your paycheck. And I'm like, well, you going to pay me to come in and speak to your people? They're like, yeah, I mean, we're one of the biggest companies in the world. And I opened up that paycheck, and it was more in an hour than I made in a whole month of coaching. And you know what I said? I'll be back every 15 minutes, man. Y'all need me to come back tonight? But it was the first time in my life I began to figure out that I had a skill set that people would pay for. See, people are not paying you to be their real estate agent for the house. There's always a better house, a prettier house, better subdivision. They're paying you for your unique skill set. They're paying you because you can regulate emotion better than any other real estate agent. They're paying you because you got a deeper network than any other real estate agent. They're paying you because you can negotiate better than any other real estate agent. They're paying you because you have a very special skill set that they need. Everybody with me? See, we make mistakes when we say, well, we're just a realtor. There's 4,000 realtors in this market. There's too many people competing for the same space. So what I do with my agents is I help them find what makes them very, very unique. And then I help them package what makes them unique. And then I help them sell what makes them unique. You follow me here? So when the person at Dale said that to me, you know, you have a very special skill set that we will pay for. It was the first time in my life that I said, there is someone who will write me a larger check than what I'm getting for what? My skill set. So fast forward 4 years, I win a championship. My old school would go on to win 6 more championships after I left. And I retired at 31 years old to coach adults, something I said I would never, ever do, right? Now, this was 08, 09. This is very critical to the story and very critical to you. 08, 09. And what's going on in 08, 09? Massive recession that drastically pummeled most real estate people. So the first people to reach out to me during the recession were big banks because big banks were losing money. Okay? And they said, will you come in and coach our people? They put a freeze on hiring. We can't add any new people. And we need you to take our current people and get them better because we got to make money. So I go in the first year and we show a huge increase in retail sales, and we get these employees to play at higher levels. Well, guess who come calling next? Big home builders. Because big home builders were used to selling large numbers of homes, 04, 05, 06, and at 08, it's off. So they're like, what do we do? We're trying everything we know. So now the biggest home builders begin to hire me and say, we got to sell more homes. So I go in and start working with these big home builders, trying to figure out how do their agents get more people to the properties. How do, once we get them in a house, they sell them better. Does that make sense? So for 2 years, I started working with the biggest home builders in Tennessee and the biggest home builders in North Carolina. So I'm listening to these people that are used to selling 700 and 800 homes a year, right, 40 a week, to now they're selling 4 a week. So I'm dealing with their psyche. I'm dealing with their selling system. I'm dealing with their lead generation. I'm dealing with all of this, okay? So I go in, help them stay profitable so they don't go out of business. What I do works to some extent, and guess who starts calling me next? All the big real estate firms. Because they say, man, we got all these agents and we need to help them sell more homes. So because I'm an old coach, I started developing all these systems and structures so that I could take a real estate agent and put them in my little greatness factory and pump them out on the other side. And I quickly figured out, here's the number one problem, you don't have enough leads. Everybody with me?
Yeah.
Because I would ask an agent, are you hitting your sales numbers that you set for yourself? If you said this year I want to do 24 deals, I want to do 36 deals, I want to do 18 deals, I want to do 12 deals, I don't care what the number is you want to hit, right? I would ask them, are you hitting your sales numbers? And they would say, no. And I would say, ask this question, how many strategies are you using to get your phone to ring? And in today's world, that means Facebook, LinkedIn, everything. I get a lot of leads on Facebook. People private message me all the time. Say, I'm ready for a coach. They don't email me. They don't call me. They come in through Facebook. So when I say get your phone to ring, I mean people coming into you. So I would ask an agent, how many strategies are you using to get your phone to ring with a qualified person on the other end? And here's what they would tell me. Boy, that's a good question, Coach Bird. How many am I using? See, that's our first problem. Because here's what I would say. Remember what Dr. Phil made a fortune asking? How's it working for you? And it ain't working like it should, right or wrong? With the proper inputs, we should get the proper outputs. And so here's what most agents would tell me. Well, I'm getting referrals. And I said, but it ain't working enough because you ain't got enough leads. Right? So let me give you some stats in real estate you need to remember. 67% of people in real estate use the very first agent that contacts them. Now that is both good and bad. What's the bad side of that? They don't use the best one. They don't use the most experienced one. They just use anyone that contacts them. So there is a good and a bad to that. The good is, if you're the first one that contacts them, you got it. The bad is, they don't use the best one. Many times, most people use whoever they know. I met them at a cocktail party. My cousin's a real estate agent. Blah, 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 right? Now, here's my theory. The more sophisticated the buyer or seller, the less that's true. Sophisticated buyers and sellers, sophistication typically means more money. They start asking, who is the best agent? Who can negotiate the best for me? So the big buyers and sellers don't use just anybody. They use the best. Everybody follow me here. So here's the deal. 67% of people use the first one. More sophisticated buyers use the best ones, which means you have to communicate to the market that you're better than everybody else, right? And here's another stat for you. Every real estate transaction you do should be worth 5.7 referrals. That's what National Association of Realtors stat. But 98% of realtors never call a customer back once they put them in a home. You see the missing structure there? Okay, you see the missing structure? So I'm about to hire some people on my team that do nothing but work our current base of customers to extract those 6 leads. Everybody follow me? I have 111 people that I'm coaching right now that pay to be in my big coaching program called Monster Producer. Most of those are real estate agents, mortgage originators. Kevin's in there. And my average rate of return is about 43%. So in the first year with me, you grow your business by 43%. Does that make sense? So whatever you're making, add 43% more to it. That's what my people are averaging. Now, if I've got 111 people and I just gave you the stat I just gave you, that those should be worth 5.7 referrals, would you tell me that it's silly not to have somebody working those 111 people? Yes or no? If you were coaching me, right? Well, your 111 people are all those people you've already sold a house to. But with nobody working them, what are you losing? What if you got 6 referrals off every deal? But 98% of agents never call a customer back, right? So the partnership is not over. So when you come to me and say, I got to get more leads, the first place I look at is, what are you doing for the past people you've already sold? Is there engagement? Is there relationship? Is there high touch? Is there high frequency? Now let me tell you what not to do. Do not send past clients drip campaigns with lousy emails that they never read. That is not relationship. Does that make sense? I had a guy who represented me once who would send me an email that said, here's the absorption rate of your subdivision. I didn't even know what absorption rate meant. But in his mind, what was he doing? That's not contacting me. Contacting me is getting to know me. Contacting me is getting involved in my life. Contacting me is showing up. My real estate agent now takes me to breakfast every Saturday morning. And you know why? I buy commercial real estate, short-term, long-term, houses. I was looking at a plane yesterday. He wanted to represent me on that. You know what? He would. If he could get a commission, I'd give it to him. You know why? He's so involved in my life. He will not let another agent break in. You're not going to steal my business by having one conversation with me. Does that make sense? So the way he does it, he not only does it for me, he does it for 25 other people just like that. So he's getting those referrals. So when I'm looking at your business, the first place I'm going to ask is, look at all the people you've already sold. They've already committed to you, and what type of engagement do you have in their life? I had one agent in North Carolina that I called him one day and said, what are you doing for your past clients? And he said, I am going back to every one of their houses. This is in October, November, and he said, I'm making sure their houses are winterized appropriately. That's what he was doing for his past clients. How many other agents you know out doing that? You think he's getting referrals? He did 125 deals last year. And when I started with him, he was a mortgage originator that had never done a real estate deal. He was a mortgage guy. And in just a few years, he's doing 125 transactions because he understood this. So when I'm looking at your leads, that's the first place I'm going to look. Okay? Now let me tell you the second place I'm going to look. When I come into the week, I use a planner. And Takesha, if you could, I got my planner here. I want to show you how I map out a day because this is very, very critical. The purpose of any business is to create a customer. Can we all agree with that? Yes or no? The purpose of any business is to create a customer. But here's what I ask. What have you done today to create a new customer? It's noon. First thing I'm going to ask you is, how many activities have you taken today to create a new one, not an old one? And here's what I hear a lot of agents say, what? I'm just so, what? Busy. I never hear my top agents say that. And I'll say, you know what? I got agents right now doing 10 times the amount you are. They never use 2 words, overwhelmed or busy. There's 2 types of money problems. One, you don't have enough, and one, you have so much you don't know what to do with it. Which one would you rather have?
The last one. Better one.
I want so many leads. You would never hear the words overwhelmed come out of my mouth, ever. I want to be overwhelmed with so much business. If you study the law of sowing and reaping, the busiest time of sowing and reaping is when the harvest comes in. See, a lot of people think when the harvest comes in, you put your feet up. If you know a farmer, my granddad was a farmer, I asked him about the harvest. He said, no. When harvest comes in, we're up at daybreak, right? We work all day. We want so much coming in, but we don't ever want to use the words overwhelmed, because I saw overwhelm in 08, 09 where I had to get builders out of bed in the morning. Literally go to their house and get them up and get them out of bed because they were so depressed. That's overwhelm. Does that make sense? We got a wrong definition of overwhelm today. Right now, people are spending more money than they've ever spent, ever. Right? It is easier right now than it's ever been. Right? We won't overwhelm. So don't be afraid of that word. But don't use the word too busy. Because I can't get you new leads if you say I'm busy dealing with things I've already sold. So I'm going to show you a rhythm I use, okay? So the purpose of any business is to create a customer, okay? I make my daughter, by the way, map out her goals. I got a 4-year-old daughter, and every night she has to map out her goals. Those are her goals for today, last night. So she gets her planner, and I get my planner. Last night I had mine. Let's see, what did she say? I said, what's your first goal, baby? She said, I love you, Daddy. I said, that's a dang good goal. Now, what do you want? You want something, don't you? Okay? Okay, then she said, meet new friends. That's the second goal she has. She's 4 years old, okay? Work with friends. Those were her 3 goals. See, for Thursday, those are her 3 goals. 4 years old, I get her down and I make her map this out. The reason I tell you that is because I coach real estate agents every day that don't map out their days. Everybody with me? And if you're not mapping out your days, are you on defense or offense? 98% of agents don't map out their days. That means I come into the day with the plan. So what I want to teach you is the way to come into the day with the plan. So when I come into the day, I have a plan. Okay, so let me give you 4 things you're going to want to write down. Okay? Because this is critical. We're talking about lead generation. What's the first tip I gave you to get some leads? If you did nothing else, if you said, I don't even remember who that little bald-headed dude was, you're going to go to work on your past clients you already sold, right or wrong? Because there's 5.7 referrals on the table. We can pick up leads. That's the first place. If you don't want to go back and work with the psychopaths, I'm okay with that. And 10% of them are. If you say, look, there's some people I never want to work with again. I get it. But some of them I'd love to work with again, right or wrong? So every week I start off with this. I start off with a hit list. I want you to write that down. A hit list represents new money. It represents new money. Your hit list could be a strategic partnership. It could be a past client. It could be a direct consumer. It could be a person that calls in on a lead. Hit list is just people that we believe we can help with our services. Now, where are those people at, by the way? Where are those people at?
Everywhere.
7 billion people on planet Earth. There's probably some on Mars that we ain't sold to yet either. Right or wrong? Yesterday, just to test my theory, I left my office and went outside and started walking around. And I took my phone with me, and I just wanted a break and get out of the office, so I ate lunch. And I started going through my Facebook lead. I started going through my Facebook and looking at my Facebook. And now you can call people on Facebook. Most people's numbers are directly tied to their Facebook pages. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. And so I was just to test my own theory, I started looking at Facebook people and I going, man, I could help her, and I could help her, and I could help her. Why have I never called them? So for 30, 45 minutes, I was calling people on the Facebook page. Hey, this is Coach Burt. You know, I believe I can help you. I believe everybody needs a good coach in life. I know you want to play at the next level. I'd love to just get you in one of my classes. Just see if you like it. No obligation. Just come and sit in on my class. Does that make sense? You know, 75% of those people said, I'd love to. So here, the question is not that they're not out there. The question is we don't go get them, right? Now, I don't typically randomly do that, but I was just testing my theory. So I come into the day with a hit list of about 3 to 5 people a day. I'm never going to be a coach that tells you to make 100 phone calls a day, 100 phone calls a week. Never. I'm never going to be a coach that tells you to work a sphere of 400 people. I do not believe that you can manage 400 relationships. And I have personally been in other people's sphere, one of 400, which means I get a phone call like once every other month. And I hate getting this question. Do you know anybody buying or selling real estate? That's one of the most awkward questions in the world. No, I don't know anybody buying or selling real estate. Number one, I hadn't heard from you in 3 months. You're not at the top of my mind. You haven't been involved in my life. No, right now at 9 o'clock on a Wednesday night, I don't know anybody buying or selling real estate. So I'm not from that school of coaching to tell you that. Here's what I'm going to tell you. I want you calling on 3 people a day, 3 new people every day. Does that make sense? I want you doing 3 things a day to get a new customer. Can everybody do 3? 3 a day, 5 days a week, 15 a week, 60 a month. That's 720 things a year. You will grow your business, right? If you call on 3 people. So I tell you, every day start off with a hit list. So every week I start off with a hit list. Every day I got 3 to 5 people I'm just calling on because I believe what? I can help them with my services. See, real estate, you got to have long obedience in the same direction. You're not going to call somebody today and they go, oh yeah, I'm buying a house today. Will you represent me? But that's how we want it to be, isn't it? So my real estate, he's right there in my life. He's right there in my life. He takes me to breakfast on Saturday morning, right? He's involved in my coaching programs. He's sending me people. And then this week I decided I want to sell one of my properties. So I call him and I say, figure out how much you can get me for my property. Right? See how easy that was? What if he never called me? What if he's never involved in my life? He's not pressure. He's not hard selling me. He's just right there in my life. Right there in my life. Just checking on you. Just want to make sure everything's okay. Just want to believe in you. Just want to support you. How can I help you? Can I take you to breakfast on Saturday morning? He's just banging on me. And then I say, I want to sell a property. Can you put it on the market for me? Does that make sense? That's how easy it is. We complicate it. So I start every week off with a hit list. I put my hit list in my planner. So at night when I sit down to plan with my daughter, I say, who tomorrow can I help with my services? And I typically have 3 to 5 a day My key targets. That make sense? My hit list. Okay? So if you're not starting with a hit list, what you're really doing is playing defense. That means you're showing up at the office and going, who can I, let's hope something happens today. I'm going to create something happening because money follows energy. Do you believe that? Money follows circulation. Money follows activity. Money follows movement. Money does not follow stagnation. So I start every week off with a hit list. Okay, that's number one. Number two is I have a farm club. Bless you. And my farm club are people who have indicated interest in my services but have not committed. They have indicated interest. Okay? Remember this, money only changes hands when problems are solved. The bigger the problem, the more money people will pay to solve it. So every day I'm banging on my hit list. I'm calling new people, right? Today, most of you guys are new to me. Some of you look familiar, okay? But most of you are new to me, right? I just left another real estate event where there's 40 other new people. Every day I'm calling on new people. Now I do things in groups versus one-to-one. So I call on 40 people at a time versus one. Everybody follow me? Okay? But I'm calling on new people every day. Hey, I believe I can help you with our services. Hey, I noticed that right? Money only changes hands when problems are solved. So the second group of people I'm working every day is what I call my farm club. Now, how many people have people that have indicated interest in your services, but you haven't closed them? All right? Statistics tell me it takes 7 to 15 touches, 80% of the time, to convert a prospect to a buyer. Everybody follow me. I even wrote a book on this called $1 Million Follow-Up. And I wrote this book because I watched how pitiful people followed up with me. Okay? If you indicate interest in me, okay, and I've decided that I would like to work with you, okay, and I think you fit in the model of who I want to work with, which means you're an enlightened person, we're going to share a vested partnership, you're an interesting person, you want to go to the next level. Once we have that chemistry, it's called business chemistry. Once we have that, that doesn't mean you're going to sign up today. Does that make sense? It's going to start the process. Okay? And the process is where I'm going to keep coming back to you to articulate how I can solve your problem better than anybody else can. Everybody with me? So the follow-up is intended to rekindle that initial attraction and solve a problem. You follow me here? Well, what if you only go one touch? Yesterday I was working with a real estate team because a lot of teams bring me in to coach their entire team. And the broker brought me a list of potential listings. And he said, here are all potential listings, pages of them, that have never gotten more than one call back from any of our agents. I was with a broker last week that was spending $500,000 a year to drive leads. And I said, what's the number one problem you got? You know what he said? Can't get my agents to follow up with them. Right? Follow-up is where the money is. See, I've shopped for multiple houses. I've owned 4 houses in my life. I got a condo in the ocean. I got a cabin in the mountains. You know, I look at houses all the time. And there's not a week that goes by I'm not doing a real estate deal. You with me? Here's what I know. I can be interested in something today and completely lose interest in it by tonight. Right? I looked at a little airplane yesterday to get me from point A to point B. And when I was sitting in that airplane, you know what I said? I'd like to have this plane. By the time I got home, thought about it, talked to my wife about it, right? I ain't as interested today as I was yesterday. Everybody follow me? Now, here's what would be interesting. See if they follow up with me. Because I was interested when I was in that plane. What should they be doing? They should be getting me back in there. No different than you getting people back in a house. What they should do is, hey, let's take this up on a test drive. Let's let you ride it and see if you like it. If they were good salespeople, that's what they would do. Bring your wife. Right? Here's what will happen. They won't do that. I guarantee you they won't do it. Because people follow up so poorly. If you show a person a house and they're interested in that house, the minute they leave that house, their interest moves to something else. And they can lose complete interest in something that they loved, right? So I follow up religiously with people. And what I'm trying to do is bring you back to that initial attraction. You follow me? And when I follow up with people, I would never say this. Do you have any questions? Let me tell you why. That's a question that they can say, no, we don't have any questions. You don't ever want to ask that question. You never want to say, well, I was just thinking about you. Okay? Unless you want to be creepy, you never want to say, I woke up thinking about you. Okay? Or I was dreaming about you. Or what? And I've heard all this stuff. Okay? I had a real estate agent call me back after a deal 4 days later, $950,000 property. I was looking at for a business idea, and it was $950,000. He called me back 4 days later. Let me mention that again. How many days later? Four on a $950,000 property. 4 days later. Here's the exact words out of his mouth with one of the most reputable firms in Nashville. Here's what he said. I'm just doing my due diligence. How do you think I felt when he said that?
Really important.
Oh, I hate to inconvenience you here.
Yeah.
He never followed up with me again. Now, the problem was I was looking at doing, like building a retire, like a fraternity house for old people, okay? And what, for, you know, so what we're going to do is make a cool house, because that's a new trend where people that are widowed or anything, they want to live together. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So they had this 10-bedroom house, and I was going to take the house and turn it into this concept where they could live there together, but it had staircase. And so here's the deal. All the agent had to say is, look, I've checked on elevators. Here's how much it costs to put an elevator in. He never did any of that stuff. Wow. So he wasn't solving my problem. Yeah. So if I had interest in the property when I looked at it and I thought we could make money with it, when I left and he didn't follow up with me or didn't follow up with me and be a solution, then he really lost my interest. Does that make sense? So for you, when I say every week you should be following up with people, every day you should be hitting your hit list. That's new people, right? And every day you should be banging on people who've indicated interest. Now, right now, there's 125 million people online looking at real estate right now, this very second. There's 258 million people online right now. Right now, half of those people are looking at real estate deals. When they go online and show interest in a property, they're interested, right? When you go to a car dealership and you look for cars, you can say you're looking all day long, but statistics say within 72 hours you're going to buy a car. Everybody follow me? So when we get leads, and you get leads, we get bogus leads just like you do. But never assume that a lead is bogus. The largest speaking engagement I ever closed was on a lead that came in from a person that was from South Africa that claimed he met me 4 years ago in Riviera Maya, Mexico. I had no recollection of it whatsoever. I didn't remember him. May have been the margaritas. Don't know. But you know what? He was legitimate. And he whipped that credit card out and said, I'd like to book you in Orlando for this month. What if I'd assumed on that lead? Do you know that my personal house that sold not long ago, there were 21 unclaimed leads that day that no agent tackled, no agent touched, and one agent on a Sunday went in and called every one of them, and one of them was on a person that wanted my personal house, and they made an offer on it the very next day. So here's what people do. They assume this is not a good lead, it's not a real lead. You know what they're really saying? I don't want to do the work. Mm-hmm. The bottom line is I got to do my discovery. So every week I'm working my hit list. Every week I'm working my farm club. And right now, if you looked at how many people in your farm club and you following up 7 touches with great touches, so what would be a great touch? Instead of saying, are you just thinking, what would be a great way to follow up? We use a concept called the challenger sale. That's what I write about in the book, of how to challenge a prospect. What would be a great follow-up?
Ask him a coffee.
Okay, can I meet with you? Here's what I say. You told me what you wanted, and I went and found it for you. And I brought it to you on a silver platter. And I got it at the price point you want and the subdivision that you like. Have you seen enough to make a decision? Now you say, that's a little strong. We live in the South, right? Here's my point. The reason I need you to be stronger in your follow-up is because you're supposed to be an expert. And I came to you for a reason. That makes sense? So I need you to coach me. So when I follow up with people, I'm a little bit bolder, right? I may say, have you seen enough to make a decision? Okay? I may say, they may say, it's not 100% of what I wanted. I use my own example. I say, I live in my dream home today. It is absolutely my dream home, and it's still only 80% of what I wanted. If I can get you to 80% at the price point you want and the subdivision you like, what is stopping you from taking action? Because if you got to sleep on it one more night, you're not going to sleep in it. You with me? My job is to get this for you, and if you got to sleep on it. So here's what people do when you follow up. They give you excuses, and they're all just soft excuses. What are the excuses? Got to think about it. Got to talk to my husband about it. Got to talk to my wife about it. Got to sleep on it.
Not sure.
Got to meditate on it. Got to medicate on it. Got to pray about it. Right? These are just soft excuses. Specifically, what do you need to think about? If you'd like to talk to your husband, can we meet together? You see what I'm saying? I don't let people off with little excuses. You came to me for a reason. I can help you get what you want. Does that make sense? So you got to take more control. That's called the challenger. The relationship builder supplicates. That means I put the consumer in control of the transaction. I'm going to take control of that transaction. So how many people right now are in your farm club that if you closed them, you'd make a lot more money? If you followed up better, right or wrong? Just quantify how much money. Quantify how much money you could be making. That if you just close those people, how much money would go from their pocket to your pocket because you solved the problem for them, right? So every day I'm pitching my services, and we call that our what? Hit list. People we can help, right? And every day I'm going 7 touches in my farm club, but we're not done. Every day we're also onboarding new customers and slowing down and spending time with our new customers. 98% of agents never call a customer back once they put them in a home. So what I need you to do, instead of thinking speed up, think about when you get a new customer, slow down. Let me meet with you. Let me talk with you. Let me show you the strategies I'm going to use. Let me get in the boat with you, because what I really want is I want those 5.7 referrals, right? And so what I want to do is I want to massage that relationship in the beginning so there's value quick. And what it's called is called a net promoter. How fast are they out there saying positive things about you? Well, here's what a lot of agents do. They go out there and they sell them and they move on to the next one. And they sell them and they move on to the next one. And this one back here that you sold, that you courted, that you followed up with 7 touches, that you worked hard to get, you kind of forget about them. Right? So every week, we need to slow down and we need to onboard our customers properly. Spend more time initially with them, helping them, getting to know them, learning more about them. Don't speed through this. Sometime in real estate, you have to slow down to speed up. Everybody follow me here. Okay? Now, the next thing you got to do is this. So every day I'm doing, now you're talking about lead generation, right? Every day I'm doing what? I'm working a hit list, 3 to 5 people. Every day I'm working a farm club. Every day I'm onboarding new customers, right? And every day I'm loving on my biggest and best customers. We call that the top 25. Okay? Now, the most money that can be made is always made in your biggest advocates who are fighting for you in the market. You should be getting a minimum of 3 referrals, 3 new leads from the people that love you. Does that make sense? But what if I never hear from you? What if you never stay high touch, high frequency? What if you never call me? Why would I use you? Why would I refer you? See, I want you to think about it like this. In the back of every person's mind is a little piece of real estate. And in that little piece of real estate, they only have room for 1 or 2 agents. 1 or 2 mortgage originators. 1 or 2 insurance people. Do you have room for 10? So how do I own that little piece of real estate in your mind? When you do buy, sell, build, finance, how do I own it? You know how I own it? High touch, high frequency. So I got 25 people that I say these people can make me $1 million if I will just stay in the boat with them. High touch, high frequency. Notice how that's different than some coaching programs that tell you to work 400 people, 600 people. There's no depth of relationship there. See, I can build 25 great relationships. I don't love on all 25 a week. I love on 3 a week. I do 4 events a year for my top 25. Does that make sense? So I may do these at my house. I may do special events. But my top 25 are like where the money is. Because those are people who are sold on me and sold. Now, why would they be sold on me or our product or service?
You did a good job.
That's right. We got them to a much better place. So typically in my world, they're making a lot more money than they've ever made through our coaching programs. We've got them to a much better place in their life. They got more confidence. They got more clarity. And they are crushing it. And they're drawing a direct correlation back to our relationship for that happening. Everybody with me? Well, I've done real estate deals where I did not feel like that after the transaction was over. I felt like, hey, you got me to the finish line. We scratched and clawed. It was messy and ugly most of the time. And I don't want to go through this again with you. Does that make sense? Then I've got through some and I'm like, man, she was good. Right? She was good. I would refer her to other people. Now, when it comes to referability, it's where great people tell other great people how great you are. You follow me? So that means you got to be great for the first person. You got to be great initially. Every day with your current customer is an interview for your next customer. Everybody follow me? So if you're not extracting that, so look at the rhythm I'm in to generate leads. Every week I got a what? Hit list, which are people I'm calling on for new money. Every week I got a what? Farm club, which are people I'm trying to close. Every week I'm onboarding new customers and loving on them, which are sending me referrals faster. I want people going, man, I just got a coach. It's the best thing I've ever done. I want them saying it in the first, and you know when they typically say it? Within the first 1 to 3 months or after they made a bunch of money. It's new. It's exciting. So we want to slow down and onboard them correctly, right? That's where leads coming from. And then every week I'm loving on my biggest customers. Now, out of those 4 structures I gave you, where do you think your biggest missing structure is right now? I want to stop right now and let you tell the person beside you, because all progress starts by telling the truth, okay? So I want you to tell the person beside you, look, right now in my business, here is my missing structure. Out of what Coach Bert's telling me to do, okay? And if it's all 4, see me after the break, because you need a little counseling, okay? Okay? All right. So, all right. To tell the person beside you what your biggest structure is. Take off.
I invest with this on board. I do have that. I'm not so.
What do you think, guys? What do you think? Where's your biggest missing structure? Okay.
Yeah, it's probably too. I call enough new people.
Okay. Got to call on new money, man.
Yep.
We hear sphere of influence so much, but here's the reality. We need to sell to strangers. To ever grow a big business, you can't just sell the sphere of influence. What if your sphere of influence is small? You got to sell to them, which introduce you to strangers, which introduce you to other people. That's when you're building a business. When you're really selling to new people, right? What do you guys think? This is a quiet corner over here? What's going on?
I need to
Talk to me.
do my farm club a little more
How many touches? 7?
this week.
How many touches are you going to go?
Probably
7 to 15 touches? What about you?
I need to learn to love on the people who love me and will refer me.
There you go. If you just started with that, you'd make more money. Right? Will you do it? Will you commit? Vince Lombardi. Vince Lombardi moment. All right. How many people have problem number 1? They don't start every week off with new money. Here's the deal. Well, I hear sphere of influence, worky sphere, worky sphere, worky sphere. Here's the problem with that. For you to ever make a lot of money, you got to sell to strangers. I went to New York City this past week. I was on Good Day New York. 1 million people watch Good Day New York. And listen, the reason I went to New York City is to sell to new people. Everybody with me? I could be on Channel 4 here in Nashville and 50,000 people see me. Or I can go to New York City and 1 million people see me. Everybody follow me here? Mm-hmm. Well, you got to get out of your mind that I can only sell to my sphere of people. When you really become big time, you are getting requests from strangers who are saying, man, so-and-so told so-and-so told so-and-so that I had to use you. Does that make sense? And you don't even know these people. If you're only going to sell to your sphere, most people do not have a big enough sphere to make enough money. That sphere has got to constantly be expanded. I know Mama told us not to talk to strangers, but you have got to build a business by talking to strangers. Everybody with me? So every week I'm working. Now, so what? I'm not saying I'm cold calling people, because I don't cold call people. But I am working my network of people who are introducing me to new strangers. You see what I'm saying? Many of you are strangers to me. So I had to come here, convince Kevin. Kevin had to get me here. I had to come. I had to not pack from Malibu. There's all kinds of things I had to do just to be here. Everybody follow me? But you know why? My number 1 thing in my business is driving revenue. So when it comes to driving revenue, there's nothing that I won't do. You understand? Because that is the lifeblood of my business, is bringing in sales. We can't expand if we don't have money. We can't hire new people if we don't have money. We can't build nicer buildings if we don't have money. We can't grow to other markets if we don't have money. Everybody with me? Revenue is the number 1 thing you got to be worried about. So hit list is number 1. How many people said they had number 2? Follow-up problem. Follow-up. Okay? Now, what's the real problem with follow-up?
You just don't know what to do.
Okay? Don't have a system. I have a 7-touch follow-up system that I teach. Okay? So after we meet, I follow up with a summary. After the summary, I have a callback. After the callback, I have a proof of concept email. After the proof of concept email, I use one of my biggest hitters to call you. Does that make sense? I hit you in 7 different ways. Now we're using video, audio. Now when we follow up with you, now we're using every tactic we can. Facebook, LinkedIn, video, text messaging. We use everything. Because my number 1 purpose in the follow-up is what? Rekindle the initial attraction. And I found the best way for me to do it's video. Because video is the closest thing to live. Everybody follow me here? So you can do it on your phone, video. I have a studio I go into and I follow up like that. But here's the deal. What does it do to get you all excited? I almost said hot and bothered, but I shouldn't say that. What does it do to get you all excited and then you leave here, nothing happens? What good does it do you? What good does it do me? Right or wrong? Can I look at a property and love it and then leave and lose all attraction for it? Yes or no? Because somebody else got my attention. Your job is to get and keep people's attention. Okay? So 7 touches on the follow-up. All right, how many people said, I'm not doing a great job of slowing down and onboarding my new customers? And that's an area I really got to slow down and do a better job. Anybody say that one? Don't underestimate that one. Because here's how you don't want them to feel. You worked real hard to get my business and this is all I get? What if I worked real hard to go on a date with my wife and I took her to McDonald's? And she said, you worked that hard to get my attention and that's it? You understand what I'm saying? Here's what I believe in. Overpromise and overdeliver. Don't underpromise and overdeliver. Overpromise and overdeliver. Okay? 4th thing. How many people said they got to work their top 25? Now, you may not have 25 people yet, and that's okay. Don't freak out. Start with 5. Start with 5 close advocates that love you, that will refer you. High touch, high frequency. What do I mean by that? I don't want to talk in abstracts. What do I mean by that? What did I tell you my agent's doing for me? Hey, takes me to breakfast every Saturday morning, involved in my life every day, referring me to people. He's in my coaching programs. He's bringing me new business. He's advocating and promoting me. It's not a random one phone call because I'm one of 400 that he calls every 3 months. There is a deep and meaningful relationship there. You with me? I would feel guilty if I used anybody else other than him. My conscience would not let me use anybody. That's the kind of relationship you want to build. Is I can't even think about using anybody else but him. And there were better real estate agents than him, by the way. There are people who make more, earn more, produce more, have sold more, but that loyalty, that in the boat with me, that focus with me, that's the reason I would never use anybody else. Does that make sense? So for you, these are 4 areas. Now let me tell you what we haven't tackled. We haven't tackled social media. And people ask me all the time, if you were a real estate agent and selling real estate, what would you do? Everything I currently do. I'd have my own books. I'd have my own podcasts. I'd have my own videos. I'd have my own YouTube channels. I'm getting 200,000 views on my YouTube channel. Do you think those people are one step closer to buying something from me? Yes or no? Yeah. So I've made a commitment to pump out 5 times the amount of videos I currently do. That's why this guy's following me around everywhere. You see what I'm saying? As I want to pump out so much content. So I write blogs. I do a database blast every week. I'm hitting social media hard. I'm Snapchatting, Instagram. I do it all. And you know why? Because now that's a new way to sell. And people tell you don't get on there and sell. I'm not getting on there and selling my products or services. I'm just being Coach Burt. Does that make sense? And some people are going to like me and some people are not. And here's my philosophy. Some will, some won't. So what? Keep moving. Out of this room in here, some of you going to buy into what I'm saying. Some of you don't care about what I'm saying. Some of you do what I tell you. Some of you won't do. And guess what? I don't care. I care, but I don't care. Right? Because here's the deal. I'm only looking for people looking for me. You got to make up your mind. You're only looking for people who are looking for you. And you know why? Because you have something very valuable and very special. You are not just a realtor. Get out of that business. What I mean by this is you are a businessman or a businesswoman. And you got a very special skill set in a certain type of real estate. Does that make sense? Your skill set may be in negotiation. Your skill set may be in networking. Your skill set may be in regulating emotion. You are not just one of 4,000 people in Nashville, Davidson County selling real estate. You have got to get to the point where you are a specialist. Everybody with me? And most real estate agents I coach do not see themselves this way. They're just say, I'm just a realtor. Well, there's so much more to you than that. You're underselling yourself. Because in a given day, you're a psychologist, you're a therapist, you're a motivator, right or wrong, you're a marriage counselor. Don't tell me that you're just a realtor. When I was a high school basketball coach, I was all those. I was a therapist, motivator, psychologist, parent. I was all those in a day. Now you tell me you can't develop some strong skill sets from that, right or wrong. So there's 2 ways to sell, and I'll finish on this one. The one way is relationship selling, what I showed you. Okay? It's hit list, farm club, top 25, net promoters, working my past clients. That is relationship selling. But the new way of selling is online. Social, blogs, attraction, putting things out that other people are interested in and they're coming to you. Does that make sense? Why do you think all the top agents are doing videos now? And you watch them. They're going to do videos. They're starting their own podcast. I got a State Farm agent said, I want to do my own podcast every month. Right? It's new ways to share information. Why did Rupert Murdoch buy Realtor.com for $1 billion? Because the people who control the information control everything. When he has that information, he can turn around and sell it to you. Right? I work with a company in Minnesota that owns 100% of the MLS listings in the United States. 100%. Zillow does not own 100%. Trulio does not own 100%. Realtor.com does not own 100%. One company owns every listing, access to every listing in the United States. Now, why is that valuable? Because if I can tell you every time a person's looking at a house, and I can tell you they've looked at this one house 7 times, how valuable is that for you to know? They even have features with this software. I call it the creepy feature, where if a person that is in that system and looking at those houses, right, if they're within 60 feet of the property, it will notify you that they're looking at that property. Yeah. Okay. Who has access to that? Kevin Watson does. Hey, I kind of set y'all up on that, didn't I? But I'm coaching the company. It's called HBM, Home Buyers Marketing, Next Gen. And the guy who founded ERA, by the way, Electronic Real Estate. Y'all remember that? Back where they were doing the faxes. And he built it into 400 franchises, and then he sold it, and he started this company called Home Buyers Marketing, and he's a genius. He's a freaking genius. And he said, what if I knew every time a person was looking at a house, how many times they looked at it? If I could aggregate it, if I could give you that information, what it does is it speeds up how fast you can sell a person. Because if I came to Brentwood or Cool Springs and I looked at the same house 7 times and you knew it, you could call me and say, hey, I know you love this one, Coach. Let's get you pre-qualified and get you in it. Does that make sense? So what's happening is the new way of selling is information. Is where people have all the information and they're giving it to you. So Kevin has the app, Home Buyers Marketing, and he can tell you every person that's looking. Every time that he gives you that app and you give that app to one of your buyers or sellers, every time they look at it on their phone, he knows it. And you know it. So I'm in it right here. If I said, look, I want to look at every house 500,000 and below or 500,000 and above in this area because I want to live in this subdivision, when I log into this app and I look at those properties, okay, and he gave me the app or you gave me the app, then he knows it and you know it. Now, is that valuable to know, yes or no?
Yes.
Gosh, man. If I knew every person that was looking for a coach and they were dinging on there looking for a coach and it was coming to my sales team, do you know how much faster we could sell people? Yes or no? Yes. Well, Churchill's got it. That's how I ended up working with their company, because I was coaching Churchill, and the owner of Home Buyers Market saw me coaching Churchill and hired me to go to Minnesota to coach them. Everybody see that? It's amazing. So this is the reason I tell you that, because this is a new way to sell. The old way is what? I got to find you. I got to talk to you. I got to share my explanation. I got to follow up with you 7 times. I got to convince you and your husband. See how long that sales cycle is? The new way of selling is, you want it, we got it, let's go. What if we could sell you the first time? What if we could sell you the first time? Now, has this helped you think about your business a little bit? You know what my theory is? You can't see the picture when you're inside the frame. The reason I have coaches, hey, there we go. We're coming alive over here, aren't we? I knew I'd get you before it was over with. Oh. The reason I have people coaching me is real simple. I can't see the missing structures in my business. And that's why I need people to come in and go, look, Coach, if you just did this and this and this and this, your business would blow up. And that's really why we need coaches in our life, in all facets of life. You need another person. And I know this is a new trend, having coaches, but because I came from the athletic world, you know, there was a symbiotic relationship between the player and the coach. That makes sense? And in the Bible, it talks about the sower and the reaper enjoying the harvest together. And when I read that, I was like, now that's what a good partnership should be like. We sow into each other, and we both enjoy the harvest together. That's what a good client relationship should look like. You follow me here? And so I appreciate, number one, you allow me to come spend time with you and share this information with you, because, listen, I think when we know better, we do better. Maya Angelou said that. When we know better, we do better. Until we know better, we don't do better. Does that make sense? So I think about a real estate agent that was doing around 23 deals a year, no purpose, no strategy. And he used to come over to my house on a Saturday, and he was just kind of a goof off, you know. And he would bring a case of beer over to my house and 3 pizzas and eat all of them and drink all the beer. And he just didn't care about anything. And we started coaching him about 4 years ago. And the coaching opened him up to his real potential. He was probably about 37, 38 years old. And he's on track this year to do 100 deals. Wow. And he's going to make $400,000 this year. And the coaching changed his whole life. And you know what he said? I didn't know any better. And when I knew better, I did better. So how does that change his life? Changes where he lives, changes what he drives, changes where he goes on vacation, changes how he plans for retirement, changes his whole life. Okay? And that's the kind of business I want to be in. You with me? So Kevin, thank you for having me today.
Thank you, Kevin.
If I brought some books. And if you want to get our email, I send a weekly email out every Wednesday. If you want to get that email, it's got my podcast in there, videos, it's free to you. Just make sure we got your information, okay? And if you want to talk about, if you're in the room and you say, look, I want to play at a higher level, okay? I got 2 people with me today, Bill Maddox, who's here, Dr. Bill, and Takesha Bromell, they're on my team. And if you want to talk about something for you, or you're interested in it, just talk to me. No obligation. I typically tell people, come one time for free. Just come sit in on the class and see what you think. And if you like it, we'll talk about your future. Fair enough? You guys enjoy this?
Yes.
Hope y'all got a sandwich for me because I'm hungry. All right, thank you guys. God bless you.